And it's Thursday morning, live at 9 with James Phillips is on the air here on WJLX 101.5 FM. And this morning we're joined by Kristian Douglas. He is the president, I believe president's the right title, of the Bridge Educational Philanthropy. And the Bridge is a group that helps students in Walker, Jefferson County and around the area, as well as they're organizing a Juneteenth event this weekend that is a fundraiser for their group as well. Kristian, thanks for joining us this morning here on WJLX.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm glad to be here.
We were talking before we came on the air, and we'll kind of share with everybody a little bit about the Bridge and how you guys started, what the organization's all about. Just tell me a little bit about it.
Absolutely. So the organization was started in 2021 at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. It was started by three veteran educators, my mother, Dr. Monisha Douglas Moore, Dr. Yancey, and Ms. Ashley Beasley, who is a teacher here in the local school system. Dr. Yancey is actually a professor at Kennesaw State University. So it was started because we began to realize that many of our students who attend local schools here, they were not doing too well. And the pandemic really exacerbated these realities. And so because of that, we came up with this organization titled The Bridge to get them from where they are to where they need to be. And so our mission is really to be that resource to provide opportunities, exposure opportunities, and critical resources for students in pre-K all the way through college. And so we base all of our work on that we do with students in data. So we not only serve students for now, we really wrap our arms around them and we serve them for however long they need it. And so that is kind of different from most organizations, not only in Alabama, but through the nation. We give them services for however long they need it. And so it looks different for each student and by extension, their families.
Well, and you're from this area as well.
I am.
So, I mean, you've seen this your entire life.
Yes.
You've seen the situation.
Yes.
You know what goes on in schools and what students need. Talk about some of the specific programs that you guys offer with the Bridge.
Absolutely. So we have a huge focus now on literacy. We have a focus on social studies, and we also have a focus on STEM education. And so we have several programs that students can participate in pre-K through college again. So we have our Early Childhood Academy. They're actually in class now, so it's year-round. So it's fall semester, spring semester, and then summer programming, of course, at multiple sites throughout the state. We also have ACT test prep, understanding that that is often the key for students to get scholarships to go to college. And we also have some work we're doing now, kind of getting ahead of myself here, talking about teacher development. So we understand that in order for students to do well, teachers also have to be supported. So we're doing some push into schools and doing some professional development with local school systems and districts and charter schools and private schools. So we're really excited about that. And so that is really the extent of our work. We are growing by leaps and bounds. As we were speaking about earlier, we serve hundreds of students, so we're looking to hit that 1,000 mark pretty soon. And we are currently at capacity, so we're looking for more staff to come on board to support these students because the need is so critical right now.
Right, and to be able to support hundreds of students, and we talked about before we came on the air that a large majority of the students, it's free services.
They are free services. So if you meet one of our 5 markers, such as you receive free or reduced price lunches, you live in poverty, you come from a single parent household, you receive services at no cost. Most of our students, I would say around 90% of our students are receiving free services, whereas the other 10% pay for services.
Right. What are some of the success stories that, or some of the things that you're most proud of that you've seen in the short time that you guys have been available to students?
One of the most important things that I think for us, and we're seeing this in our data, is students developing an authentic love of learning. So it's not just that you are coming in and you just have to do this remediation or intervention or acceleration, but you are really coming in because you like to learn. You like to draw, you like to read, you like to do hands-on activities through the prism of STEM. And so that love of learning is really important for us to curate while they're young. And the goal is to get them to and through college. There is a lot of discourse now around trades, and I support trades, but there is nothing like someone with a college degree.
Right. And whether that be a 2-year or a 4-year degree.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There are so many benefits of having a four-year degree in terms of health outcomes, in terms of wage earnings throughout your lifetime. And so we really push the narrative that college is for everyone. We often hear the narrative that college is not for everyone. So we kind of steer clear of that language because we believe with the right resources and opportunities to thrive, college is possible for everyone.
Right. Talk a little bit about the bridge and then the actual term, the bridge, why you guys came up with that, because I think you had said that there's a lot of things that classroom teachers or just the school environment can't offer that a nonprofit, that
Yes.
sort of realm can offer. So what are some of those things?
So traditional schooling is limited by leaps and bounds, and we see that increasingly in our current socio-political and educational landscape. And so the bridge is really curated to be a bridge from where students are to where they need to be. And they are really, we center them as the experts in their own learning experiences. So we hear from students and we hear from families, and we do inventory surveys, and we find out what are the things that students need from their families. And we view students not from a deficit perspective, but rather from an asset-based perspective. So what are the things that they're bringing to us that we can build on to get them to where they need to be? And so in that way, the bridge is doing things that the school system is not necessarily, most school systems are not necessarily supported in doing, because the traditional teacher is inundated with so many tasks. Classrooms are overcrowded and underfunded. And so these community organizations like ours, we are really uniquely positioned to fill in those gaps that we're seeing, especially amongst our subset population. So when we look at our students in terms of race, gender, class, language, those students are not doing too well. And so we really want to wrap our arms around those students. We welcome all students, but we really want those students who are really not getting the resources they need within the traditional schooling environment.
Yeah, well, and I look at the demographics of our schools now. It's so different. I mean, I graduated almost 30 years ago, and since it was graduation week a couple weeks ago, we were looking at, one of our daughters was graduating, and we were looking at our old annuals and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And the diversity in schools has changed so much in that 30 years.
Yes.
There's so many more of the Hispanic population.
Yes.
There's so many more African Americans in different communities.
Yes.
That I was really blown away by the diversity in our schools right now.
Absolutely. So when we look at census data, we know that the American population is becoming increasingly diverse in ways that we have not really prepared for. And so part of the work that we're also orienting ourselves to do is to prepare students for the workforce, where they have to develop these cultural competency skills to be able to work with other people who may not look like them, who may be from different parts of the world, really, right? And so that is part of the work that we're also doing outside the prism of just traditional, academics, math, science, reading, writing, things of that nature. So it's really a holistic approach.
Yeah.
And so we take a lot of what we do from other organizations as a template. So, for example, before I taught in New York City Public Schools, I worked at the Harlem Children's Zone. And one of the things that we did there was we made sure that students had the resources they need for how long they needed them. And so holistic resources. So that means not only do students need tutoring, acceleration, remediation, but they may need to be connected with a social worker.
Right.
They may need to be connected with a local food organization because students come to school hungry, and if you haven't had anything to eat, you can't learn.
Yeah.
So we really take a holistic approach in supporting students and also integrating the families into the process as well, because the research is clear in that when families are integrated, students far much better.
Yeah, well, and I just think organizations like you guys and others that you guys have learned from, it's just really cool to see groups teach this next generation who are in our schools now of using the diversity to bring us all closer together.
Yes.
We see so much division in the world. To be able to have groups that help us to see how to come together,
Yes.
I think is something that can change the world more than anything that we see.
Absolutely. And the earlier we start, the better.
Yeah.
When we can plant those seeds, society can change, and
Yeah.
we believe it. We believe it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Just want to remind everybody, it's Live at 9 with James Phillips here on WJLX. Today's guest is Kristian Douglas. He is with the Bridge Educational Philanthropy, and they've got a big event coming up this weekend, actually, that we'll talk about. We're going to take a quick break, listen to a few of our sponsors, and one more song, and then we'll be back and talk to Kristian about the upcoming Juneteenth event this weekend in Jasper. So we'll be right back here on Live at 9 on WJLX. And we're back live at 9 on WJLX 101.5. It's James Phillips, and this morning I'm joined by Kristian Douglas. He's with the Bridge Educational Philanthropy Group. And we mentioned before we went to the break that you guys have a big event coming up this weekend.
Yes, we do.
I'm guessing it's probably your biggest fundraiser each year.
One of them, yep, absolutely.
And it's a Juneteenth event that will be taking place at the Jasper Civic Center on Saturday. Tickets are available for it, and we'll have a link for tickets on our Facebook page, and also you guys have it on your Facebook page, which is, what's the name of the Facebook page?
The Bridge Educational Philanthropy.
There you go. So the Bridge Educational Philanthropy, search that up, and you can be able to get tickets. Tell us a little bit about, I guess let's talk about the history of Juneteenth a little bit, and then you can tell us specifically about this event, what's going on at it.
Absolutely. So the history of Juneteenth is really interesting. So in December 31st of 1863, let me get the date right, of 1863, black slaves were waiting to hear that they had been freed. And they did not receive that notice until 2.5 years later in 1865. And so June 19th became Freedom Day for Black Americans. And so the day is commemorated all across the country now with a renewed interest, of course, in celebrating Black freedom, Black empowerment, and liberation. And so we're tying this to education because it was Frederick Douglass who said, "Those who learn how to read will forever be free." And so much of our work at the Bridge focuses on literacy, social studies, and so we kind of weave in those realities, those historical realities, into contemporary realities. And so Juneteenth is our biggest, one of our biggest fundraisers. It's taking place downtown this Saturday at 11 o'clock. It will be at the Civic Center, and so we have a phenomenal keynote address that will be delivered by my pastor, the Reverend Dr. A.B. Sutton, who's the pastor and founder of Livingstone's Temple in Fultondale, Alabama. And so we're expecting a sold-out venue. So I have 3 tickets I can give away.
Awesome.
So we're looking forward to it. It is a great event to meet other folks in the community, to kind of hear about the services we're doing, and we're honoring 3 educators. So we're honoring Mr. Vincent Metlock, a retired educator, his wife, Ms. Christy Metlock, and another retired educator, Miss Evie Moore Palmer. And so we're really looking forward to giving these folks their flowers now and supporting the work that educators do, because it is such a challenging task now to be an educator in the 21st century.
Yeah, it really is. And I've attended, this is the 3rd annual Juneteenth event that you guys have done, and I've been honored to be invited each year and plan on being there Saturday as well. And each event has been really good. As you said, the keynote speakers each time has been great. I still remember some of the things that the guy talked about last year. It was just a really dynamic speaker who had everybody. I feel like everybody in the room was laughing, crying, like it just kept going back and forth,
Yes, the Reverend Dr. Jeremy Cameron Kirk, one of my cousins, actually.
Okay, and he was from the University of Tennessee, wasn't he?
Yes,
yeah.
College of Engineering.
As an Alabama fan, it's hard for me to like anybody from the University of Tennessee, but he was a really incredible speaker, did a great job, seemed like a super person.
Yes.
And then you guys each year recognize a handful of local educators who have kind of paved the way for teachers now.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a great thing that you guys do each year.
Absolutely. It's important work that often goes undone in many parts of the country. So we definitely want to recognize the hard work that teachers are putting in around the clock. And so we are really fortunate to be able to do this. And this event supports students to receive free programming.
Right.
So again, it all goes back to how are we supporting our students and by extension their families and the community at large. So we're really excited about it again.
And don't forget, the majority of students that the Bridge supports are students right here in Walker County. There are some in Jefferson County, but the majority are in Walker County. But the group is growing, and they need funds to be able to reach this hundreds of students that they are already reaching, but also more funds to be able to expand, because Kristian said that they are at capacity right now and looking for more teachers, more staff members, more volunteers to be able to reach as many students as possible.
Absolutely. And I will say we have some of the most generous funders, state, local, and national funders give to our programming. So we are very fortunate, whereas other entities are being cut from funding. Their funds are restricted. That is not our reality. And so we are very grateful for our funders and for the support that has really come in on a national scale. And so the operative word now is expansion.
Right.
And so we are really expanding very, very quickly. We serve hundreds of students, and as I said earlier, we really wrap our arms around these students, and we support them for however long they need it. So if that means cradle to career, that's what we're engaged in doing. And so we have some other plans that'll be coming out soon. I've signed a few NDAs, so I can't really talk about it now, but we are really excited for expansion.
Sometimes NDAs can be a positive thing. Sometimes they're not a positive thing.
Yes, that is right.
I think I've signed a few in my day that I'm not, I'm not going to talk about it. But you had mentioned that there's been kind of a renewed focus on Juneteenth, and it does seem like that since the pandemic, maybe there's been a renewed focus. I had told you that, growing up in this area, I had never heard of Juneteenth. It was never taught in school. There was nothing. I moved to Mississippi back in like 2012, and the community that we were in there in Kosciuszko, Mississippi, had an annual Juneteenth event, and that's where I learned about Juneteenth the first time. And then moving back here in 2016, kind of saw a renewed focus a little bit more in the Birmingham area, but then you guys started this event up 3 years ago, and I just think it's anytime we can celebrate freedom of any form or fashion, it's a great opportunity. So I think it's a really cool event that you guys have put together.
Thank you. Yeah, we think it's necessary now in an era where there's so many curricular restrictions, the banning of books. So we think it's important now to kind of remember our history, remember the history. And this is American history. Right. And we're kind of uplifting this and also celebrating those who deserve celebration as well. So it is a somewhat of a holistic event, like we support children holistically. This is a holistic event. So we are very excited about it and looking forward to a phenomenal lunch. Right. Yeah. And who's catering the lunch? Any certain? I believe it is Black Rock Bistro. Well, and I thought Black Rock had catered it in the past. And for any of our listeners out there, if you've not ever had Black Rock before, I mean, the food is incredible. So it's going to be worth the $40 just for the food, but even more to get the message and to be able to fellowship with folks throughout our county and a lot of visitors that will be coming in for the event as well. Just a great day, and it'll be a great time. I guarantee you that. Anything else you want to share about the bridge before we go? We have 3 free tickets to give away. That's right. Yeah, we mentioned we'll give away 3 free tickets, and what we'll do a giveaway on the WJLX Facebook page. We'll do that coming up a little bit later this afternoon. I'll post that as we finish up the interview, and then once we post it, we'll do a giveaway. We'll announce what time it's going to be, and then I will get with Kristian, and we'll be in contact with you to let you know about who won the tickets, and they can probably pick them up at the door. Absolutely, just show up at the door. So, Kristian, I really appreciate you coming in today, and more than anything, we appreciate the work that you guys do in our community. Just a great thing that the bridge does, and anything that we can do here at the station to get the word out for things like this, please let us know. Thank you for the invite and the support. All right, awesome. Guys, thanks for listening to Live at 9 this morning here on WJLX. Tomorrow morning, we'll be back at 9 o'clock as well. And we'll have Paige Britton. She's the founder of the Recovery Den and the Recovery Cafe, Walker County. The Recovery Cafe is a new program that they've started where they serve a free meal every Friday and Saturday. They do a recovery meeting, and it's not just for people who are recovering from drugs and alcohol. This is a recovery meeting for anybody who has suffered from trauma, anybody going through anything in life. It's just a place where people can meet up and see that, hey, everybody's struggling. And so
a very good support group and also get a free meal, which has looked delicious. I've seen their menu the last few weeks. And so Paige will be here to talk about that here on Live at 9. And then later this afternoon, we've got Woody Wilson. He'll be coming in at 10 o'clock. He'll be here from 10 to 2. The professor of rock and roll will be telling you all kinds of information about things going on in the world. And I bet there'll be some Beach Boys played today after Brian Wilson's death yesterday. So I bet Woody will have some Beach Boys on. It's good summertime to listen to some Beach Boy music. Later on this week, just be able to tune in, look this weekend. Don't forget all of our church programming on WJLX. And for our producer, Terrell Manasco, and for our guest, Kristian Douglas, I'm James Phillips. See you next time.